everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Diaspora Chronicles. My name is Muloongo Muchelemba, and I am the founder of Ongolo.com, a Pan-African website whose main objective is to keep Africans connected and engaged and to promote Africa and Africans. On today's program, I'm delighted to have Durand Reeves, who is the CEO and founder of Rosewater, a company that offers a unique cultural experience to Egypt. Welcome to the program, Durand.
Hello. I would say good morning. I know it's a little bit later in your time zone, but hello, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing really good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Really excited. I really appreciate the opportunity, to be speaking with you and on your platform. So thank you so much for, having me on and allowing me this time to, share what we're working on.
Well, I'm really grateful that you agreed to take part in this show today. And so I thought it would be great to start off by just giving the audience a quick intro about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So born and raised in Los Angeles, California, Pasadena specifically. Went to school in the Midwest, studied business there before getting my first job in hospitality. So that was my introduction was actually in the Midwest as a server and a bartender. From there, ended up going to New York and getting a little bit more hospitality and sales experience while I was out there before coming back home to LA and working in nightlife in LA and then developing this Rosewater project that I've been working on for the past 2 years. So most of my career experience, hospitality, sales, ended up merging all that experience that I learned over the years and decided to develop my own thing and get that moving.
Let's talk a little bit about your own thing, actually. So I'll mix things up a little bit because you've already introduced Rosewater. So tell us about the company and what inspired you to start it.
Yeah, so I had taken a vacation to Africa a couple of years ago. Ended up going to Egypt just to visit a friend who had actually went out there to study like her own kinetic yoga program, and she ended up never coming back. So she fell in love with the area and the people and the vibe so much that she, remained out there. And we went to go visit her, me and a friend, and I also had the same experience, fell in love with the people, the energy, the culture, and decided, hey, I wanted to come back and pursue a business there. For me, it initially just started off as a restaurant concept that we were going to do and introduce to Egypt. And for me, I don't know, something still just felt like it wasn't enough. I needed to provide, this opportunity to other people that may also have interest in coming to Africa or coming to Egypt. So that's kind of how I started developing a workforce study program that we're attaching to the business and kind of been out in Egypt for the past 2 years, laying the groundwork for that and developing relationships and yeah, just trying to get this thing going.
And what were your initial thoughts? I know you've talked about the people being great, but overall about Egypt, what is it that you learned about not just Egyptian culture, but African or Middle Eastern? And we'll talk about whether it's African or Middle Eastern culture. But any initial thoughts for people who've not been to Egypt?
Yeah, I mean, I would go with a very open mind, have little to no expectations, and just allow the trip to take you where you want to go. What surprised me the most was how similar a lot of people people that I met were to me, even though we grew up in opposite sides of the world. We still were able to find commonality on a lot of things like music and fashion and pop culture and things like that. And it just was, mind blowing for me to see how much the internet has, shrank the world and allowed us to, share, have this cultural exchange before we were even meeting people. And then for me, just to have the reception that I received, and like as soon as we touched down in Africa, the idea of having Americans and Black Americans coming back to visit was just they were so appreciative. And everywhere I went, they wanted to talk to me, share their culture, hear about my culture. And that's how it's kind of been the entire time. That has never slowed down. I'm meeting new people every day, every week while I'm out there doing business. But in terms of the reception, I mean, it's welcoming everywhere I go, no matter the industry, no matter the level, if it's, an executive meeting or something like that. Just the idea that I would come back and visit is just so well received from them, and I've appreciated it.
Oh, that's great. So I've mentioned earlier that there's a raging debate on Twitter because CNN Middle East show is showcasing the new museum in Egypt. And so
Uh,
people on Twitter are asking, is Egypt part of Africa or part of the Middle East? What have been your impressions about how the people feel? Because you said we landed in Africa. Is that the perception of locals?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. Like anywhere you go, I think it depends on who you meet and just their perspective. But at least for me, in the network that I've built, there definitely is acknowledgement that Egypt is a part of Africa. So, I mean, like I said, you're going to go some places where that might not be consistent, but for the most part, with the network that I'm in, it's definitely something that's acknowledged as a part of it. So, but yeah, you'll hear that when you're in Egypt. You'll hear, certain Egyptians may not feel that way, but for the most part, the network that I've cultivated, they all understand like Egypt is located in Africa, and there is they share that culture and that history for sure.
Oh, that's great. Well, just to remind our viewers that you can actually post your questions and comments on the Facebook wall. And similar to this, I will then be able to flash them on the screen and ask Durand directly. So please don't be shy and let us know as well where you're watching from. Okay, so can we just go into the specifics about what the program is? So people watching here who might be interested in joining, what exactly is it that you're doing and what do they get out of the experience?
Okay, yeah. So there's a couple of different parts to the program. So the two major things is, like I said, there's a restaurant concept that we're launching, and then there is this workforce program that I developed. So I got the idea because in America they do have the same concept already kind of running, but it's on a from a hotel scale. So they have completely fully functioning hotel built out on a college campus, and college students are employed and running that business. So I took that idea and applied it to the restaurant side because that was primarily a lot of a lot of my background. Like I've worked in hotels, but restaurant was kind of where I really got my feet wet. So what we're doing is we are educating students on business management, hospitality management, and culinary arts and food science. Excuse me, all while working in a live restaurant environment. So like we'll have the actual fully functioning restaurant going, having guests in there, having activations and things like that going, and then students will have the opportunity to work in that environment and actually get real live, applicable experience. In addition to us having like classroom hours and field hours as well. And then one of the other unique parts of the program and the restaurant is we're going to do farm to table services. So we're going to be, growing our own fruits and vegetables and using that product in the restaurant. And that'll also be a part of the education as well, teaching horticultural, sciences and showing them how to apply that and, grow your own food and use that for your business as well.
So where do you grow the food?
So we're hoping to build a grow house actually attached to the business. I've been establishing relationships with a lot of the farms in Egypt now, getting information just in terms of climate control and what is how that business actually flows in that part of the world. But we are going to try to have that a part of the actual restaurant location and actually have it viewable for guests when they come in. So you'll get to see the whole production of what we're doing on both sides, the grow house as well as the kitchen side. It will be an open kitchen, so you can see that production side as well, just to give people the full experience of what we're doing educational wise and business wise.
And when you say grow house, are you talking about like the vertical sort of aquaponics or water fed how it's
Exactly.
using? Wow.
Exactly. So yeah, hydroponics, you're right on cue there. And yeah, greenhouse.
Amazing. And how have you found actually doing business in Egypt? Like just setting up the business from, and what has that process been? So and the reason I'm asking this is I live in Singapore. It is dead easy to set up your own business just because the government has digitized everything and there are not a lot of people that you have to engage before you actually set up a company. So what is that experience like in Egypt?
Yeah, I mean, it's been twofold. So I would say in terms of, I mean, perspective wise, coming from America, which is probably one of the places where you're going to need a lot of overhead. You're going to need to do a lot of pre-planning. You're going to need to do just a lot of logistics before you even get to the point of taking those steps. Um, Egypt is a place where you definitely don't need to have all of those dots connected per se before you start moving forward. So like for me, I was able to learn as I was going with a lot of with the many parts of the foundation of the business. I was able to learn on the fly, and it wasn't as financially impacting as it would have been if I was here in America making mistakes and just trying to do different things. But yeah, like I said, me being an American over there doing business, everybody has wanted to help in some way. Once I tell them, like before I even tell them what the business is, they're already one foot in the door wanting to help because I'm bringing foreign attention and foreign finances into the area. But then once I tell them that the business is focused on educating people, bringing people from outside into their area, educating people that's residing in Egypt, they want to help me as much as possible. So for me, it's been amazing how much help I've gotten, and I know that I looked for a lot of this help in America before I left, and the just the finances that were tied to this amount of knowledge that I've been able to get over there, it's just, I mean, it's been priceless. So definitely very easy. I've told a lot of my friends, when I go back home to visit or when I'm calling home and having conversations, like if there's any idea that you are passionate about, that you've thought about starting a business, like Africa is the place to go if you are, yeah, just looking to thrive and try something new. So I already knew it was, very risky for me to be leaving America and trying something internationally. But the reward has been there almost immediately. So.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that and the little pitch for Africa, because that's one of the objectives of my blog, is to really get that bridge going between Africa and other parts of the world that don't know just how big the opportunity is and on the continent. So I know you've started off. Actually, let's talk about your other projects that you're doing as part of Rosewater. So we've talked about the restaurant. What else are you involved in? And let's just say a quick hello to Rania, who has just dialed in, and she actually was great at promoting your interview. So thank you so much, Rania.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Yeah, in terms of the other things, so a part of my business is I have a nonprofit sector. It's Rosewater Projects. And with that, we focus on community outreach programs. With COVID happening, there was a lot of just a lot of pivots that had to be made business wise because there wasn't a lot of impact you could make from your house. And yeah, there's just a lot of limitations. But as things began to open back up in Egypt, after things started to kind of like numbers started to decrease, I had a bunch of ideas that I wanted to launch that would impact the community positively, as well as help build some momentum and just energy around the company as well. So I didn't want to do something where I just like paid for advertising or commercials or things that like that. I wanted to do something that was community impacting, and we started something called Fugee Sport. I actually developed the idea just with my assistant that I hired when I first got out there. He's a young refugee Sudanese kid, and we just had this idea about starting a running group. Honestly, when I built the idea out, when I planned it out, I might have thought like maybe 12 people would come to this thing. Because we're asking people to come out to your house. It's right after COVID. You're not, there's no real benefit outside of you just having an opportunity to run with your friends. So anything over 12, we thought was going to be a home run success. We had like 18 people show up, which I was like super proud of. Then the next week it was 25, next week 40, next week 60, 80, and now we have 150 active members. And it's something that kind of just grew overnight. So no real marketing, just friends telling a friend, telling a friend, telling a friend, and now we're here.
And how far do the people jog, and how often?
Yeah, so it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we have a couple of different options for you. So you can run anything from a 5K to 10K to even sometimes up to 14K. And then we also have like a walking group for those that are looking to just be social and not super focused on the exercise aspect of it. And since then, we wanted to, for me, it's not about just my vision. It was like we need to be doing things that are for the people and what they're looking to do, like what they're looking to get out of the program. So it actually grew from just running to cycling, fitness, basketball, football, and we offer all those programs now. So there's something going on almost every day throughout the week. But in terms of the big running group, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 in the morning. These people are getting out of their house and coming to run with us.
And how can people watching from Cairo get involved if they're interested?
Yeah, you can directly reach out. We have, all of our social media platforms set up. We're having our website will go live hopefully later today, if not tomorrow, and that'll give you an avenue to connect with us. But really, you can anyone that you know that's connected to the program can you can come with them, or you can come individually if you just know what time we're running and the location. But yeah, it's not something that's super technical in terms of you being a part of it.
Mhm.
Everyone who's like-minded, believes in what we're doing is welcome. So I know I get a lot of questions because of the branding. Is this something that's specific to refugees only? And that's not the case. It's definitely, inclusive. Like I said, anyone can join. We do have Egyptian members who come run with us as well. So it's definitely an open platform. The marketing is just done that way just because I wanted to focus on that group of people and give them something to give them some representation and something to empower them. But it's open for everyone.
Wonderful. So this is something that you do for the community in Egypt, and then the restaurant is people coming into Egypt from what kind of audience are you, student population are you targeting?
Yeah, the demographic, I mean, naturally is American just because that's where I'm familiar with the most, and have the most network ties and can do the most marketing. But I mean, I want this to be something that is beneficial globally. So I don't want it to just be Americans coming specifically to Egypt. We're looking to bring people from all over the world, as well as like I said, have it offered for people that are residing in the area. And then if the success is where I hope it to be, this is a project that we would like to take all over Africa. So it's not, Egypt is just the starting block and where we're trying to, figure out, the blueprint on how all of this works. But the long-term goal would be to have this available in every country in Africa. And for me, I like the thing that has me so passionate about the project is, I don't think that, I mean, I like to think I have high self-esteem about myself, but I don't think I'm like any more talented or whatever special than anyone else. I think I just been given access to different opportunities throughout my life. And for me, I don't want anyone that is searching for that access to feel like, financially or logistically is the only reason why I can't be that. So if anyone is looking to have a career in those fields, or looking to have experience with entrepreneurship, or just looking for cultural immersion and looking to travel, I want to make that accessible to them, if as much as possible.
And just something I'm not sure if you covered this earlier, but what you're offering is not just people come to the program, but to come to the restaurant, but you're literally offering them a full package where you will be responsible for the students when they're in Cairo, right? So like
Yeah, so
accommodation.
this is a Yeah, exactly. Sorry, yeah, sorry if I didn't make that clear. This is a study abroad program. So um, we're bringing people in, we're handling their pre-departure responsibilities and all those prerequisites. We want to take care of them as a study abroad student traveling anywhere else. So we'll handle housing, we'll handle food, transportation, first aid, insurance, things like this. That's what we're looking to do. So we're searching for accreditation partners now, and also university partners as well, just to finalize the location of where we want to put the restaurant and the program inside of Cairo. But yeah, we're looking to have it be a fully functioning educational program like anything else.
And when you're trying to expand across the continent, is your approach to start by partnering with the universities, or is it partnering with like a restaurant? How are you actually going to do this? And do you have an idea currently of where you might go?
Yeah, I have. So yeah, I have a list of educational entities that we're already, in talks with. I've already been talking to a lot of businesses and potential partners as well. So at this point, it's kind of in flex. Like it just depends on what people are looking to do after, post COVID. So it really just depends. I know if all failed, if all things failed, and then we didn't get the accreditation piece, or we didn't get a business partner, for me, I'm still looking to move forward with the entire project, and we will just go without that accreditation piece to start with, and we'll get it and develop it later. The reason why it's not the reason why I wouldn't completely just stonewall the program if I didn't have those things in place is because I've been working with different businesses in America as well as internationally to interview and employ program graduates after they complete the project. So I've been able to have businesses buy into what we are looking to educate people, and they, based off of, my experience and my performance level, they're confident that these students will come out fully prepared and ready to go. So even if we don't have that accreditation piece, I will be looking to get you into a job after you complete the program, which is essentially why we all go to school and why we all, try to develop experience anyways to look to, a career. So that's what I will have that piece in place, regardless if we have, the accreditation partners or not.
Oh, that's great. I think that's comforting for people who are still keen on doing the program regardless. And just talking about expansion, so we talked about across Africa, but are you looking to expand within Egypt itself? Because you're currently only in Cairo, right?
Yeah, we're only in Cairo. I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, I would definitely be willing to expand. I specifically just chose Egypt because, like I said, with the vacation piece and my history and things like that. But no, anywhere that people feel like there's a need for this, I will be willing to take it there. So, like even I know, for example, the Fugee Sport project, we've had interest from other areas in Egypt, like Alexandria. They have a running group there, and they wanted to run under our umbrella. I'm not in Alexandria. I don't have any, plans to be living there anytime very soon. But I'm definitely willing to partner with them and expand the project as well. So like anyone that, like I said, aligns with what we're doing, and they have passion about what we're trying to do for Africa and the people of Africa and bringing people into Africa, I'm willing to help with that. So.
Oh, I love that. I think that's great, actually. And other than Fugee Sports, are you doing any other community projects?
Yeah, so I also teach English as well. So that was the first thing that I was doing. I had started teaching English independently, and that kind of also grew overnight, larger than I expected as well. So I have like 75 students that I teach English to independently, as well as I work with a few other larger clients. But English was the first thing. Then this Fugee Sport project took off, and I have also developed a community cleanup project that we're looking to launch pretty soon, and a mentoring project as well. So and that kind of what inspired that is when I first came to Egypt. I mentioned I have a Sudanese assistant, and he's a younger kid, a little bit younger than me, not much younger, but we just developed this mentor relationship, and it was kind of like, yeah, he was getting a master's program in business development as well, working alongside with me. And I was thinking there's a lot of other refugees that would also want this access. So what happened, and this is just how life has been so crazy connected, is I got plugged into a network of foreigners in Egypt, and they're all look like, not all of them, but there is a good number of them that are also looking for assistance and workers to complete tasks that they might not be able to find resources for, just being in Egypt and maybe not speaking the language or whatever the challenges are. And I'm looking to bridge that gap and put these people in place with that community. So like I said, we're trying to bridge cultures, and this is just another way we're going to do it.
That's great. And how big is the African American community in Cairo?
I've only tapped into, and not only, but like I got tapped into a network of about 350 foreigners in Egypt, but I was told that there is way more than that. I just don't, they're just spread out in different areas of Cairo. So where I live is not. I mean, it is a foreign heavy community, but like um, not for all different professions. So like different professions like teachers or government workers, embassy workers, things like that, they might be living in different areas. And I just haven't had a chance to travel in and cultivate a network over there. But I've told there is a ton of foreigners and a ton of Black foreigners in Egypt.
Wow, that's really interesting to learn. And for people who are watching and have not been to Cairo, Egypt in general, what are your tips of what they should absolutely do or see?
Oh, well, I mean, as someone who's not a super touristy person on vacation, this is the place that you have to go to the touristy stuff. So you have to hit like the pyramids, the Sphinx, Giza, all that entire area, all of the museums that you can think of or you can locate. You have to go to all of them, the temples. For me, the part of the trip, my vacation trip that changed me the most was traveling to Luxor and Aswan. So that's it's outside of Cairo, but those places have a lot of historical, um, just a lot of history tied to them. If you know about Luxor and the Holy Land and things like that, so just like the energy you feel that when you're out there, and that was the part of the trip that resonated the most with me. And then going to Aswan and meeting the Nubian people and hearing their history of Egypt and how passionate they are about their culture and their history. That was the moment that I was like, I have to come back here and figure something out because it was just too impactful.
Oh, that's great. Now, Western media is always focused on things like the violence and the political instability. Did you at any point feel unsafe when you were there, more so than, say, maybe when you're back in the US?
Not me personally, I've traveled to all of the areas that people would tell you to stay out of, just because those are places where I'm going to meet refugees and things like that. Um, but no, I haven't felt any of that energy. I mean, I'm not someone who walks around, um, in fear almost anywhere I go. But like in terms of me being in Egypt, I didn't feel like that was something I needed to worry about more so than being in Los Angeles. No. So like, and I know that's a big question that I get when I'm having meetings with universities is, is it safe? Are my teachers, are my students going to be safe? Insurance impacts, things like that. And I've never felt that energy, which is why I wanted to do this project even more so. Like I wanted to help change the narrative of how Africa is perceived. There's so much beautiful, just beautiful things to see, opportunity, people to meet there, and I feel like it's oftentimes overshined, and by the negativity. That's not something that you see every day. So a part of my project is we've been documenting everything since I started this company. So like cameras have been rolling with me from California all the way to Cairo, with me into some of these meetings. So I'll give people a chance to actually see how beautiful Egypt is, outside of just what they're seeing on major media platforms.
And what's the impact of that been?
The impact of documenting stuff.
Yeah, just showing people like what kind of reactions are you getting from people when they actually see the realities of Egypt through your
Yeah.
lens?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's just, I mean, it's amazing. Some of the questions are just, I mean, you just realize a lot of people just don't know, and there's not a lot of research being done on these places. So, like, even me posting a video, I remember the first couple of weeks, people would be like, "Oh, they drive cars there? Like, oh, there's grass there? Like, just random." And I'm like, "Oh no, like everyone doesn't ride a camel in the desert." By the pyramids, like there's a little bit like there's business happening over here. People live regular lives just like you and I. Kids go to school. Yeah, people have regular working jobs and things like that. So yeah, just the normal things that people didn't assume were happening because of whatever the ideal is of the Middle East or third world or things like that. Yeah, I've broken a lot of those stigmas. So and then just people seeing me having fun out there. Obviously, not too much has been happening, excuse me, outside because of Corona, but me going and partying with people, people in America seeing how people dress over there and seeing like, oh, they dress just like us. And I'm like, yeah, they have the internet. So like, yeah, just opening people's eyes to how normal things are has been like the most fascinating thing for me to see is like, yeah, they have cars. It's 2020. So
I love responding to those questions when people ask me, "You're from Africa? Do you live in houses?" Yeah,
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 we do.
houses with doorbells and toilets and all that.
Yeah. And when you
So
tell them you have a bigger house in Africa than you do in the West, they find that so hard to believe.
yeah, and yeah, someone who's lived in Los Angeles and New York, which is one of the two of the most expensive markets in America, and then to go to Egypt and my cost of living be so incredibly low. Like I have a not to get too personal, but I have a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment, balcony. Everything's brand new. I pay less than $300 a month
Three
for it.
hundred dollars.
Yeah, somewhere around like 260 actually, all included, utilities, everything. So the ideal of that is mind blowing to me every month when I pay. I'm like so excited to pay the rent. Like, oh, like, like I really appreciate this rent. Like, you have no idea. So, like, coming from Hollywood, like, it's unbelievable.
So do you live part of the time in the US and part of the time in Egypt?
Yeah, so the plan was always to go to Egypt, set up, and then come back to LA or New York every 3 months, just because I have like family here. I have a couple of, I have a few older relatives as well that I want to check in with, and just my parents and my life and my family are all here. And then it also just works out where it's a good break from Egypt and being able to reset and recharge my appreciation for the area, and then I'm able to handle business here as well. So I have a team of people that work for me here. So I check in with them. We get to update on where we are with the company, and I get to do things like pitch the project to universities and business here. So it's at this point it's kind of necessary for me to live on both sides.
Okay, that's the best of both worlds, actually.
Yeah, it's really a privilege. Like I know, like I'm super blessed to be able to do that. And for me, I realize how necessary it is, at least for me mentally. Like I'm pretty strong with a lot of things. I know during this COVID time, obviously a lot of people struggled, and mental health was a priority for a lot of people. And me just being in one place, not necessarily Egypt, but me being in one place for that long was very like challenging for me. I noticed I am someone who's always on the go and likes to move around and meet new people. So being stuck in that place, I mean, it was nice to learn a lot about myself, but I did for sure learn that I need to be, moving around every couple months. So yeah, it's necessary.
And have you done any travels around Africa?
Unfortunately, not since the first trip, like not since the first trip. So this last year was so business focused. I didn't get a lot of time to travel outside to Africa, but that is on my list of things to do. So I'm going to cut back some of the freelance stuff I was doing the last couple of trips and take that time to actually travel and get outside of Cairo for sure. I was able to get to travel for work a little bit, but that was like Dubai area. And but I'm looking to definitely get around all around Africa as much as possible. I don't know if you're familiar, but have you heard of like the Cairo to Cape Town travel? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of it. Yeah, like I definitely want to research that and start scheduling that with some friends as well. So I would like to take that trip if possible.
Well, I'll definitely be looking out for that video then of your trip. So I
Yes, for
know
sure.
we've crossed the half-hour mark. Did you
Okay.
have anything that you wanted to share with people before we sign off?
Um, yeah, I mean, just if anyone is interested, definitely visit us on social media. I have a Rosewater Projects handle, I have a Fugee Sport handle, as well as a personal Durand Reeves handle. Like I said, my websites will be live, hopefully either later today or the next day or so. We already have a Rosewater Projects website as well that you may see up if you've done any research, but that will be getting updated as well in the next couple of days. And then, yeah, if there's any interest or you felt just drawn to any of the projects that we're working on, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to discuss anything else in detail, getting information out to anyone else who may be connected to the project or what we're looking to do. And yeah, I just appreciate any help, and thank you guys for listening to what we're doing.
So we've got a comment here from Sira. I hope I pronounced your name right. Yusuf?
Okay.
Is this someone you know?
I do know her. So she is someone that works with me back in Cairo. So hey,
Oh,
Sarah.
great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sira. Thank you, Rania. No, I think it's always great when people, post messages. I know there's quite a few people on or watching who haven't yet said anything, but we do
Okay.
appreciate you actually tuning in and watching the program. I feel your passion for what you're trying to do in terms of like just getting people to come to Egypt, in terms of changing the narrative about Africa. And as a proud African, I can't tell you how happy and proud I am that you are an ally in this journey to change the narrative that Africa is this bleak, desolate place because there's so much happening. So thank you so much. Oh, okay. So she said we're doing it. Yeah, that's great. Well done, you guys. No, kudos to the whole team.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for coming on the program. And I'm sure you and I will keep in touch and hope to meet
Definitely.
either stateside or back in Africa. I'm due a trip to Cairo. I haven't been since 2016, and I would love to
Okay.
go back and see what's happening.
Well, yeah, whenever you schedule that trip, definitely let me know. You got to come out and see the group and maybe get some miles or kilometers in. And yeah,
Yes,
we would love to have
just
you.
5K.
Okay, exactly. That's more of my style too as well. I've never touched the 10 or the 14. I'm gonna be honest with you. So yeah, no shame there at all. But yeah, we would love to have you, and I can't wait to actually speak more with you. And
Oh shoot,
yeah,
we're not done yet. We've got a question for you. Uh,
okay.
where is Fuji going from now, as in the future?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, we're looking to expand to other areas of Cairo, like we're already in. So, as of right now, this big group meets in an area called Madi, but we are looking to expand to four other areas in the next month or so, because I've gotten a lot of interest from refugee communities that are located in those areas, but they don't really aren't able to travel all the way to where we're currently hosting. So yeah, we'll be looking to expand all over Cairo in the next couple of months, and then outside of Cairo after that, depending on where the interest comes from.
Great. Well, 5K. I'll come and join you. Wherever is closest to the Ritz-Carlton, because that's where I stay when I'm in Cairo. So
Oh,
I'll
okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll be yeah. So we're looking. That's a downtown area. So yeah, we'll definitely be somewhere centrally located to them as well.
perfect. Well, Durand, thank you so much for joining the program, and I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with you and watching your everything from in Rosewater progress and spread across Africa. I think that's really exciting.
Thank you. And the same to you. I think this is an unbelievable program. I mean, platform and program that you have where you're bringing people on to share this type of news and share, just this kind of work and what we're doing, like you said, for Africa and African people. And yeah, I'm really appreciative. I take these type of things very seriously. So I think, yeah, what you're doing is amazing. And anything that I can do to help, promote you guys as well, please let me know, because I think this needs to be something that's shared across the world.
Will do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And thank you
Thank
to
you.
everyone for watching. And we'll be back next weekend with another program of Diaspora Chronicles. For me, Muloongo in Singapore, it's goodbye. And thank you, Durand.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.